Oh, they're outside. Thank you.
Yeah, we were on the river Sunday. Yeah. We went up to Pontoon Island.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's gorgeous.
I like that whole trip. Which, did you go up the main river or the Snake River?
We did Snake River.
Isn't that beautiful? That's so much touch.
Good morning, welcome to another meeting, Lake Mary Toastmasters. Hope everyone is prepared because you can't be prepared for this morning. We're doing all table topics. If you would please silence any electronic devices, otherwise you'll get 10 times as many table topics as everyone else. And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. My apologies for the agenda. It's sitting somewhere at home where it's not supposed to be. Put all forth the effort and then managed to forget that one part. But since we're doing everything extemporaneously today, maybe it's just another part of practice.
Part of the big plan.
Part of the big plan. We do have a technical table this morning. They are going to actually have quite a bit more work today than they often do at most meetings, since they are usually a lot more odds while we're talking off the cuff, a lot more interesting uses of the English language, and a whole lot more to time. So to explain particularly what they'll be doing, beginning with our grammarian, Jody, please explain your duties for us and our guests this morning.
Toastmaster members, the grammarian has two basic responsibilities. First, to introduce new words to members, and I'll tell you what the word of the day is in just a moment. And second, to comment on exceptional and improper use of the English language during the course of the meeting. And the word of the day today, if you look in front of you, it is the word expectant. Expectant is a feeling or thinking that something will happen, expecting something. It can be used as an adjective, an adverb, or a noun. Expectantly, in an expectant manner, as a noun, a person who expects something. A candidate for office is an example, especially for ecclesiastical purpose. And then there's a sentence down below that uses the word expectantly. The group waits expectantly to see how table topics will be handled in today's meeting. And there is a 25-cent. We encourage folks to use the word. Our group has elected to impose a 25-cent fine if you do not use the word of the day when you speak today.
Except for guests and
Yes.
new members.
Thank you guys for doing that. You have to use your icebreaker speech first, is that right?
Yeah.
Before you are penalized in any way. Or encouraged in any way.
Thank you, Our candidate this morning, Kerri, please explain what you'll be doing.
The purpose of the off-counter is to know words and sounds used as a crutch or pregnant pause by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, you know. Sounds may be er. I will also be listening for double clutches such as I, or this means. All infractions are 5 cents.
And just Christie is our timer this morning.
The purpose of the timer is to keep the meeting on time. I am going to just try to keep everything moving along, I'm guessing, though, because we are going to have so many different speakers. Now everyone has 30 minutes.
1 to 2 minutes.
1 to 2 minutes.
Green comes on at 1, yellow at 1.5, red at 2.
Job for today. Be busy. We're having a special meeting today, so it's just
Here's the way to get a table topics meeting where everyone has to participate. You're
Uh-oh.
going to get 2 slips.
2.
On one, you write your name. On the other, write a table topic.
Oh, interesting.
Each of you, the guests, if you do not wish to participate, do not have to do so. Table topic does not have to be a question, but for what we'll be encountering at next week's meeting and our contest. In the table topics contest, the table topic is supposed to be general in nature, which means you should have no need for specialized knowledge or experience in order to answer the question. So
But
general,
you can, right?
the what?
But you can have personal experience? I mean, can-
Personal experience, but specialized experience.
Oh, okay, there you go.
It's like if you're going to ask someone to explain theory of relativity, a little bit of specialized knowledge might be needed for that, not very good for a table topic. You'd also want to provide something that is not necessarily a yes or no answer or a short answer, because you want them to have to expound on what they'll be doing. Does anyone need pens to write with? I'm coming around with them. Anyone else need them? Make sure you have those. Your name goes on one and a topic on the other, and if you come short of ideas, think of table topics you've had to answer in the past, maybe you could stick it on someone else this time. And then what there'll be is 2 buckets. One's going to hold the names, the other's going to hold the topics.
How do we know we're not going to get ours?
Give it back.
You might get yours.
Okay, that would be
Give it
all right.
back.
Sure?
I hope I get mine.
But you don't know that you're going to get yours.
Unless we keep it. And then,
Nope, it's going to go in the bucket. You're going to play sleight of hand, then you're kind of taking away the impromptu, aren't you? Name in this one. Topic here. Name in there. Topic. So where are you?
Kerri.
Name.
Name.
Name topic. Name. Topic.
we fold it. You want to fold it?
Name topic. Name topic. Name. Name topic.
Do you include the functionaries?
Yes. Everyone's going.
Name. Here we go.
What do we get?
Yeah.
That's where I got
Remind me of that song.
Oh, right.
Name. Name. Topic. Everyone got there?
You know, I don't even like birthday cake, but I like it for some. It's like dark chocolate.
It's a way out.
Has everyone else got theirs in?
I don't think you'll be stuck.
The way it will work, since I'm standing up here at the moment, I'll be starting it just by grabbing a topic, reading it, then I'm going to pick the name, read it. That person has to come up here. Up here. This is what will happen in the contest.
Why do you pick the name first and then the topic?
Want my name?
You already know the answer to that
Take my name out of the bucket.
I know.
So whoever come up here, shake hands to switch off. Timing will start when you begin. When you finish your topic, you go ahead, grab next topic, read it, next name, read it.
Remember, you have to go for a full minute
At least a minute. In the contest to qualify, you have to get to 1 minute. The green must show, or you will not qualify. You do get to go 30 seconds over to 2:30. This is different from what we do normally here, because we normally shorten table topics from 30 to 60 seconds for our time. So this is going to feel long for many of you that are not used to that, and just a little bit different here.
Just beat us.
Some tips for dealing with table topics in general that may be of some use. You're going to be given something theoretically general in nature. You don't know exactly what it'll be, that's the point, but you can prepare to a certain extent. A few different ways you might go about it is you might come up with 3 particular ideas that you just want to expound on. You come up with 3 things you love talking about, or that are very easy to talk about. And then when the topic comes up, find a way to twist it to one of those 3, if you can. And work from that point. Remember, you do not have to answer the topic. You do not even have to address it. You're just supposed to talk for 1 to 2 minutes.
But it's better if you do that.
Come the judges' ballots. They're going to be looking for structure. They will be looking for how you handle, but it doesn't actually say you do have to follow. The structure is going to be key. So make sure you have an opening. Make sure you have some sort of a body. Make sure you have a conclusion. You don't want to see that red light and go, I'm done, while you're in the middle. That will definitely affect you in that. Other ways you can take it is that you can completely turn the whole thing into a joke. I've seen some people just take it and go over the top, almost like they're telling a tall tale. Something that's completely ridiculous, but very entertaining. And sometimes it can be interesting if you take it very deeply philosophical. So if you can, especially if you can twist the meaning around into a double meaning. How to do those things is a lot harder to do. It often will be, how often do you like to talk about things and change the topic of conversation? Well, here's your chance to work on those. Those are simple ideas to address with table topics. Does anyone else want to toss out ideas on how they handle table topics, since we all have the opportunity? No other tips to bring out right now? Everyone's eager to get started, apparently. Beginning with our first topic today. Shale oil is America's future. And what do you think about that? Who gets the answer? Shale oil is America's future.
Shale, not shell. Shale.
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 S-H-A-L-E.
Agree, don't agree.
Agree, don't agree. Ha, Jessica.
Time over this time. Very time.
Probably should have just
Kerri,
asked someone
Kerri's
else.
got it.
Okay. Kerri, you got it?
Yes.
1 minute topic.
Oh, this is a difficult topic for me. Anytime I get I know that there's a lot of controversy over fracking or getting fuel from shale. Anytime I get a controversial topic, I'm always wishing someone else would have gotten it who's a little more passionate, because I really try to see both sides of things, and that's into politics, with the energy crisis, even things like animal cruelty or vegetarianism, veganism, things like that. So it's very hard for me to get passionate about one side or the other, because I really try to empathize and listen to each side. So with shale, I'm sure, I haven't even seen that movie Gasland yet, which I know everyone else has seen about it. That kind of, I see the advertisements on TV where they say it is the future of energy for America, and it creates jobs and things like that. But then there's also the people who are against it, who say it's very bad for the environment, it's affecting a lot of people out in the Midwest and other farm areas, places like that. So I don't know. I guess I can only say that I can see both sides of it, and I can see the pros and cons of both. So sorry, I wish someone who was a little more passionate about it got the topic. Thank you. Glad I got that out of the way.
Good job.
Do you have a bucket list? If so, what types of future adventures and accomplishments are on your list?
Bucket list.
Gus Davies.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. A bucket list. I have been talking about that with my 2 daughters and my wife, because this year is going to be a very special year for me. And Bud was earlier talking about things he remembers 60 years ago. Well, I'll be hitting that landmark. I have a bucket list. I really have a bucket list. And this weekend, one of my daughters tried to pull that on me because I always like to go to St. Augustine to spend time there. So I spent Valentine's Day there with my wife and a group of other people. But here's a bucket list that I'm dreaming of. I love to be in the mountains. I love to see what God has created, the beauty of things. I love to also just be in the plains and then be in a river in a boat. So for the last year, as I'm looking about this landmark birthday I'll be celebrating in August, a dear friend of mine lives in Scotland. What a place to be. It's on my bucket list. I want to go to Scotland so I can see these mountains, I can see the plains, and also we can go fishing, which we've done there before. But there's a particular place in Scotland I want to be. I want to visit Aberdeen. Because in my line of profession, many of my academic friends have spent time going to Aberdeen to study. So I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I have a bucket list that is made up of 5 things, but you realize I just told you one of those. And that is, I want to go to Scotland, and there I want to spend my 60th birthday as the Toastmaster.
But I was so expectant when...
I didn't write that.
Kerri, bird.
I was so expectant when I have actually, while I don't have any kids, I have actually been pregnant. Was expecting at one time. Not that I knew it. It was about, ended up having the tubal pregnancy and ended up with major surgery. I was actually almost died from the internal bleeding. Had no idea. It was maybe about a week. The interesting thing about that was my husband, I thought, was going to actually have a heart attack when we were in the hospital. He has never wanted kids, and I thought he was going to fall off the chair. All he heard was, "Oh my God, you're pregnant." All I heard was, "I have to have surgery." But that is... And his parents were so helpful when they came to visit in the hospital. They came in and told him that he asked him why he tried to kill me. And they actually really said that. Those words came out of their mouth. So that is, anyway, for me, that is my expected win. Okay.
Favorite meal memories.
Oh, okay. Favorite memories.
Favorite meal?
Favorite meal.
Julia.
Thank you, Kerri. Thank you. Favorite meal memories. Has to be the time of giving thanks and Thanksgiving, a time when your family's together and you're sharing a meal together, and it's always such a great meal. There's turkey, there's corn on the cob, there's stuffing, there's mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, everything that you want, and then there's the pies. But my most favorite meal and experience was when I was 10 years old. We're at the dinner table, my sisters, my brother, my parents, my grandparents. And as many of you know, I'm religious, I'm spiritual, but I'm not overly religious. But it was time to give grace.
And I was asked, the youngest of the family, to say a prayer. I was so honored. And I got up to the table. We held our hands. I'm ready. And I began. Oh, great Spirit. And after that, the whole table bust out laughing. My face turned red. I was like, what? And I burst into tears. I was so serious. I was ready for the prayer. Well, I learned in school about the Indians and about pilgrims and coming together, and that was one of their prayers, and I was ready to say the prayer, Oh Great Spirit. And that's probably one of the most memorable times, memorable that I've experienced with my family. And to this day, when we get together, and if I'm saying grace, everyone starts to laugh before I even start. Oh, is Ernst here? There you are. This has got to be your question. Olympics. Who needs it?
Olympics, who needs it? That wasn't my question.
No, it wasn't. Okay, I was remembering.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't my question.
All right, so this goes to Olympics. Who needs it?
Olympics.
This is to Ernst.
I'll be set up. Fellow Toastmasters members and our guests, Mr. Toastmaster. I was expectantly sitting there trying to figure out what the text topic or my topic would be. In fact, my topic was the first topic. And I'm glad I got the Olympics because, of course, I talked about the subject before. I really think that the world needs to have certain things in order to come together. And the Olympics is just one of those events. Of course, you have the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics, and then you have the Special Needs Olympics as well. So I suppose this is a great way of getting the world community together for one event and see how well they do. However, what I think it's crazy that people or countries go into debt forever, for years to come, to pay for the Olympics, which, in regards to Russia, to me, is only a way to show off, which they really don't have, which is money. Can they spend it? Yes, they do, but the general population lives in utter poverty. If you go a little deeper behind the Sochi scene, you see people living without water in the high-rise building. In fact, they have a huge sign that's SOS. No water, no heat, no electricity, and they have a outhouse sitting outside in a high-rise building, which because of the constructions which they have done was moved, so they couldn't find where the damn outhouse is. So yes, we need Olympics, but they all need to be really toned down a little bit. Mr. Toastmaster. Okay, tell me about funny things you have seen at the beach.
That's a good question.
In Cape Canaveral on the north side.
You're not answering it.
Bud McKinney.
I was hoping you'd come up with a question like that. The beach is my favorite place to go fishing. We fish in the surf. And when we fish in the surf, we have to have a rod, not 7 feet long like we do in a boat, or even 9 feet if you want to reach the far end of the lagoon, but we use a rod that's 13 feet long, right? And that rod is thick at the bottom, it's thin at the top, and we cast it with both hands, and we swing it out there, and you never know what you're going to pull in, right? And the funniest thing that I ever saw at the beach was when I hooked into a stingray. This is what all fly fishermen fear, because normally we fish in the other side of the beach where we go in the shallow water and we wear the waders. But if you've ever stepped on a stingray, you know that they have a barb in the back of their tail. And so when I caught that stingray on the beach, you can believe that I held it as far away as that pole would let me. And I let somebody else dislodge the hook from its mouth and throw it back in. If you ever get hit by a stingray, you will have to go to the hospital almost immediately. And they will have to surgically remove the barb because it's got little hooks in it. And so it was funny, but it was funny, and not in a funny ha-ha way, but a funny, peculiar way, because you never, ever expect to pull a stingray in from the beach. And be careful when you go swimming there, by the way. Tell us a story that you've always wanted to share at a Toastmasters meeting, but you haven't yet had the opportunity.
Oh boy.
Me too.
I pick out the name too. Who's the lucky one? Jody!
Tell you a story that I've always wanted to tell but haven't told yet. There are so many. In fact, there are so many that I don't know what stories I would tell you that I haven't told you yet, bud. So as I search to discover what it is, I'm thinking that there are several. There are stories about my journey to where I am today, standing in front of you, leaving a job, starting a publishing company to put my own books out, not looking to publish other folks, with the incredible support of my wife to help me do that, and people who have, in sharing that vision, have come to my side and said, Jody, let me help you. I have some things that I think could help you achieve that sooner rather than later. An unexpected gift, if you will, I think that's it.
I was going to say that.
So for me, right now, that's one of the primary stories, and I think there's inspiration and encouragement and a lot of love and joy behind potential stories that I could share with folks about that. There are stories that have inspired my writing, the backstories, if you will, that have inspired poems, if you will, that really are a book in themselves or a story in themselves to capture in just a few words the heart of a thought. There are stories about family, there's stories about friendship, there's stories about love, there's stories about God, there's stories about death, and there's stories about dying that I think are yet to be told. The key in coming to Toastmasters for me is learning how to tell those stories in an inspirational manner that will inspire folks like Jorge and Stephany and Mike and the rest of you to cause you, my hope, to tell your own stories, to be inspired to touch others with your own life in meaningful and memorable ways. So with that, I think that concludes my portion. I was expectant when? Did we do that one?
Yes.
How do we get to it?
That
I have
sounds
to
like
go
it's
inside,
slightly different.
Oh, is it?
No, it's different because I got the other one in my pocket.
Oh,
Is that a keeper?
Okay.
I was expectant when
yeah, hello.
Erika.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, guest, and master Toastmaster. I was expectant when Well, being a mother of 4, I'm expectant all the time. I'm expected to be everywhere. And thank goodness for smartphone devices that I'm able to multitask. But a particular story that comes to mind is when I'm pregnant and expecting a child. It's never changed any differently, and I'm going to walk you through an overview of how I got 4 of my kids, my 4 kids. The first child,
Let me get a cup of coffee.
just 8 pounds, 12 ounces. Andrew is now 17 years old, and I'll never forget, I was overdue the delivery date, and they had me circle the hospital in Altamont North. And I kept going around, and I kept thinking they're going to starve me. So every time I passed the little Dunkin' Donuts, I would have a snack. Even though they told me not to eat, it was my first child. So needless to say, eating was not a great cause effect, and it caused us to really speed through the delivery. The second child, Connor, he took his time as well. And my husband encouraged me to do a lot of walking. So this time I was walking ahead of time, and he came early. My third child, Caleb, at this point my husband was working for a corporate company, and he decided that I was going to have Caleb on his weekend off. So on a Friday, he had me circle Winter Park Village, and we walked and walked, and he looked at his watch and said, "So, are we going to have a baby, or what are we going to do?" And I looked at him and said, "Well, I feel a little bit of something." We went to the hospital. I was already dilated, ready to go. So by the third child, it was the complete opposite of the first one. So I did not expect that to happen when I went to the hospital. And then my Taylor is my adopted child, and I have raised her since she was 5 years old. And it was very different type of feeling. Instead of walking, I was pacing, wondering if her mom was going to put her on the plane or not. And it was the worst feeling in the world because I knew that the other children were coming, but this one I didn't know if she was going to come or not. So today I have 4 kids, and I feel very blessed to have them all. And that is my story on expectant weights. Do you think Christie closed the George Washington Bridge?
God read that.
How do you know?
Shannon Connor.
I didn't expect that time. Honestly, I'm not super into politics. To a certain degree that I am. For those of you that don't know, I am a full-time student. Not just a student, but I pretty much live at Seminole State College. So I don't have a lot of time for television and media and things of that nature. That said, I did happen to hear about this little incident. And I did happen to watch a little bit about it because this gentleman is a character who fascinates me. I think that his gregarious personality is entertaining. His morality, his sincerity, those are things I question. As to did he in fact close down the bridge, I don't think he could do that single-handedly by himself. Somebody obviously pushed the button or put the blockades up or however the bridge was closed. I think that what will happen is in time, maybe when he's at the end, like we were discussing earlier, he'll have the need to come clean and he'll admit to somebody what his involvement was, but I don't think we'll actually ever know. And I think the fall people will have fallen and taken the brunt of whatever responsibility he may have had. Olympics, what do you like about them?
It wasn't me.
Are you sure?
No, mine was Shale.
Oh, you did?
Diane.
There are many things I love about the Olympics. I watch them all the time, except for this time, and I'm going to make sure that I fill your expectant faces with smiles about what I like about the Olympics. My favorite part is to watch the skating, the Winter Olympics, the skating, and the gymnastics, which are in the summer. But I do love to see people take daring jumps, do daring things, and do things that seem to be impossible to most people. It makes me feel that we are able to do just about anything that we want to do. All we have to do is put our mind to it and practice, and the practice makes perfect, and there we are. We are above everybody and can do anything that we want to do. So to watch it is an inspiration to all. And I wait expectantly every year for the Olympics to come on. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of company this year, so I have not been able to watch the Sochi Olympics, but I will try and I have taped some on the television. I will try to watch them and relive some of it. I think it's more interesting to actually go to the games themselves. I'd love to do that someday because I think that you are encapsulated in the thrill of the moment when you are at a sporting event instead of watching it on television. I've had a lot of experience with my children my oldest son, I have twins, boy-girl twins. My twin boy played hockey, and his twin sister did gymnastics, and she was an elite gymnast, and my son was on a hockey traveling team. My youngest son is a rock climber going to nationals this next weekend, and I expectantly wait for them to do well in everything that they do.
That's the theme.
The topic is the procedure of arrival at an international airport. And Jorge.
Master Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and today's honored guests. It's funny, as the names get shorter and people keep coming up, you are more expectant that you're going to be the next one. Procedures for arrivals at international airports. I've done a little bit of international traveling, so I've gone some places, and actually the most difficult procedure I've found at an international airport has actually been coming back to the United States. Never really had a problem in any other countries. That U.S. passport is pretty respected in most places, at least it was when I was traveling to those places. But coming back here, and maybe this is just, especially, you're probably going to know the airport I'm talking about, but Atlanta airport is the worst one, not only to fly domestically through, but to come through internationally. Just seems horrible. I just am standing there in line. They put you, obviously, you have to go through the room, especially if you're connecting to a domestic flight from an international flight. You have to transfer, you have to go through the whole security process again. I'm just thinking to myself, while I'm standing in this huge queue, this happens every day. You have to know when the people are coming and when they're going, and you can staff accordingly. I don't understand why I'm standing here and seeing half of the metal detectors closed down with 4 people, and they actually are bringing out more lines to increase the queue. And this is not, this isn't a special flight. This isn't a special day. These flights are regularly scheduled. They happen all the time. So why everyone is acting surprised in this security area that all of a sudden there's this influx of people is always beyond me. So that was one of my most frustrating experiences traveling internationally, has been returning through Atlanta. Never had a problem anywhere else. Usually my experience with customs in Europe, in the Middle East, everywhere else has been, and to the islands, have been very, very easy, breeze right through. Coming back here has been, even though I'm glad to be home, I'm not glad to sit through that transfer line there in Atlanta. Thank you. Next table topic for today is, what is your favorite automobile manufacturer and why? Stephany.
What is my favorite automobile manufacturer and why? Well, for many years, I tried to support the American motor industry. I had my Chevrolets, I had my Fords, which by the way stands for fix or repair daily. I had my Chryslers. What else did I have? Buick. Might even had a Pontiac in there. I think it was a GTO. Get tickets off there. However, in 1988, I jumped ship. And I don't think I've ever been back. I got a Mazda. Liked it. Zoom, zoom. Didn't get too many tickets. After the Mazda, can't remember. Oh, I went American again. Big mistake. What was that little company? Saturn. Saw Saturn at the automobile show. It was beautiful. I ran to the dealer that Monday. They had not even heard about the car yet. It was their anniversary car. I ordered it on the spot, never test drove it or anything. Ordered the car, I said, you don't know me, I don't know you. I said, here's $5,000, give you the car, call me as soon as it's in. I want that car, because they were only making 5,000 of them. Well, I got the car, and it was fine. So I wanted to upgrade. I needed a 6-cylinder car. Big mistake. Their 2000 model, it was the worst. This car blew up on me in Klan country in South Carolina in February, in the middle of the night.
No.
And I was at the mercy of the Klan. By the way, who helped me out, and not AAA. They never found me. They took me to their mechanic, they took me to a hotel, and I was like this. What in the world is going on and where am I? But I went back, and now I do Toyotas. I got a Toyota, my mom is a Toyota, my husband is a Toyota, and my next car will be a Toyota. That's it for my car story. Thank you very much. Describe your most perfect day and what it means, what makes it perfect to you or for you. Expectant, aren't you? Mike, come on. Most perfect day and what makes it perfect for you.
He wants to hold it.
I want read it right, so
Let's find the paper. Where is it?
What'd you do with it,
You
Shannon?
crumpled it up.
Back in the
She made that up.
He wants to make sure, verify.
He's trying to use up the clock.
I like it.
Does it start till you start talking?
That's true.
It's a good
Here it is. Describe your most perfect day and what makes it perfect to you. For me, my most perfect day is wake up in the morning, seeing the sunshine here in Florida. Previously, I lived in Colorado, and my skies were gray. But even before that, I lived in Washington State, where it was very gray. Some of you may have seen the movie Harry Potter. That's how I viewed Washington. The reason I moved. When I lived in Colorado, the sun always came out. It was beautiful out there. That was my most perfect day. That I could wake up, see the sun, and just say, today's going to be a good day. What also made my best perfect day is that I had breakfast in the morning. The fact I got to see my friends when I went to work, people who I've spent much time with in places far from here, that the conditions weren't the best. They were not the best. My perfect day
was the day that I could go home and crawl back into my bed, whether the heat be on or not. I absolutely loved it, because it was another day that I got to go to bed and wake up the next morning and see that sun. Thank you. Tell us about a favorite pastime. And there's no more names left.
It's this, that's only one left, is there not?
Eugene.
You didn't know Eugene. Come on down.
Tell us about a favorite pastime. Oh, great Holy Spirit. Because I'm expectant to give a Tabletopics response. I was in Spain, traveling with this attorney friend of mine. And I did the driving because I go to Europe quite a bit, and I understand the mentality about driving in Europe, which is completely different than the United States. And I was driving and I was tired. I just had hip surgery, hip replacement. I said, John, can we please stop here on the beach? We're on the Mediterranean. Let's please stop here. You know, Gene, we have all of these beaches in Florida. Why do we have to stop at this beach? And I says, please, John, let's just stop here for a few minutes. He says, okay, but we're going to drive on. We got on the beach, and he found out that it was a topless beach. You know, we found 2 days in our agenda to stay there. It was remarkable. I've never seen anything like it. And you know what? He was sunburnt on his back because he was laying on his back with his head tilted with one eye open, pretending like he was sleeping. It's like, John, what is wrong with you, man? I went over to Gibraltar, you know, try and look at the island over there, and because it's kind of interesting because this is an island in Spain, or this is Spain, and the Brits still have Gibraltar. So we came back, and there he was, laying on the beach, sunburned, pretending like he was sleeping. Amazing. Mr. Tabletopics Master.
So how terrifying was that?
Very.
For the most part, the questions were very good at the general in nature. Is that what we're going to be doing next week? We're going to be having both the contests, the Tabletopics contest and the International Speech contest. The Tabletopics contest will be, for those who came up to speak here, it's going to be much like that for you, although all the contestants will get the same topic, and they will start outside, come in one at a time. You can come up with a variety of ways you may choose to answer. How might you have preferred to answer a different question than the one you got? But you occasionally can get lucky and get handed a question to you on a silver platter. Ernst had one right up his alley. Wasn't planning on it. And occasionally you're going to get the one you just have no clue what to do. So when it comes to the Tabletopics contest, it often is a crapshoot as to whether you'll get lucky on the topic itself. But with a bit of practice, you can still find a way to take what your experience and your knowledge is to apply it to anything that comes forward, especially if you can find a way to twist it in the direction that you want. What did you think about it?
Good idea. Yes, very stimulating.
Very good. Since we are doing a meeting, we do have a general evaluator set to give us a summary and the final bits and evaluations. So please welcome.
Are you going to have a vote on the best table topics?
No, we don't. But Democratic.
Not today. Next week, please welcome our general evaluator, Stephany.
This was nice. That's my mother-in-law's always says. All right. A Toastmaster wears many hats. Right, Stephen? It was his concept. He was the facilitator, our Toastmaster, our Sergeant at Arms, getting us all set up. We did that pretty well. We were a wee bit late getting started. The most obvious comment, we didn't have an agenda. we had a great word of the day. Thank you, our grammarian, Jody Swing. This is your first time grammarian?
Yes, it is.
All right, Jody. Next time you can save yourself some work and give that word to the Toastmaster today and let him put it on there.
He did, but since he didn't have any.
Oh, okay, but he printed them all out and put them conspicuously posted, front, back, and sides if you want, so that people can see them when they're up there if they don't have it in their mind like me. This was a unique way. How'd you come up with that? Of getting the speaker and the topics all together like that? That was very well. Might have been a little less confusing if you had different color buckets. That's all. One trying to remember. But it still went well. It flowed well. And I'm going to ask for reports now. So I got my comments out of the way. I'm going to ask for the reports first. So I'm going to hear from our timer. How did the speakers do with their time? Let's see who qualified for the competition.
I think most people did. Everyone met the 1 minute mark. How far what kind of
30
stuff you
seconds.
can go over? Okay, well I think everyone qualified then. So great. I came in at 1 minute 26 seconds. Gus 1 minute 49 seconds. Stephen 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Kerri 1 minute and 18 seconds. Julia 1 minute 43 seconds. Ernst 1 minute 48 seconds. Bud 1 minute 41 seconds. Jody 2 minutes 21 seconds. Erika 2 minutes 20 seconds. Shannon 1 minute and 31 seconds. Diane 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Jorge 2 minutes 15 seconds. Stephany 2 minutes 14 seconds. Mike 1 minute and 9 seconds. And Eugene 1 minute and 45 seconds. So,
Right. Kerri, how much money did we make?
Stephen was clean. Jody had 7 ahs, 3 ums, 2 ands.
Holy moly.
I know that I had some, so I'm just leaving it at that. I don't know what they were. I know I said a few ums for sure. Jessica, 1 ah, 1 2 so's, 1 and, 1 tongue click, 1 pause. Gus was clean. Julia had 2 ands. Ernst had an and a pause. Bud, an and. Erika was clean. Shannon, 6 ahs, 1 3 tongue clicks. Diane, 7 ahs, 2 ums, 1 so, 1 but, 1 and. Jorge, 1 ah, 1 you know, and 2 ands. Stephany, 1 and. Mike was clean, and Eugene had 1 and.
Jody, tell us about our grammar usage and our word of the day usage.
Evaluator. Word of the days were used by Jorge, Stephany, Diane, Eugene, let's see, Shannon, Ernst, Erika, and Kerri. Did I leave anyone out? Okay. And just from my perspective, some unique phrases that popped out at me. Stephen, towards the end here, crapshoot. Not something I expected this morning to come in and hear. But also you said, living in the moment is where you will find actual happiness. It's if one, and I like if that one idea sticks, and then you went on to say something. Jorge, the cue. And you said most frustrating, and you said that with such passion. And then Stephany, you said, in 1988 I jumped ship, and then zoom zoom, and clan country. That sticks with me. And then my skies were gray, and then the Harry Potter segue into what I thought that I liked that. Diane, your expectant faces were Diane did. Yes, they used excellent. And then daring jumps and daring things when you're talking about the Olympics. I like. Gus, I love to see what God has created in your arm movements. And of course, Julia, oh great spirit. Jessica, fracking. I liked that one used the word fracking, which I liked, and then another standout I thought, Kerri, I was pregnant, not that I knew it. But, so that's...
Thank you. We've got a rush now, and we're going to bring up our business chair and club president, Stephen Morgan, who's going to tell you about next week's big doings.
With next week being the contest, and we'll make sure we get out by 8:30, we start early. We actually intend to start at 7. That means contestants, functionaries should be here by 6:30, which is when Panera opens. Anyone who is not already a participant, you should get into the table topics contest. There's no prep needed. The worst you can do is win. The winners will get to go on to the area contest on March 31st. Is there anyone that has questions at this point on the contest next week?
Is there a word of the day also at those?
No.
And also, are the topics going to be more specific, or are they going to be like a specific topic? If somebody just say, talk about the clouds, or I mean,
general in nature.
Very general.
Some examples of ones I've gotten in the past. I've gotten one that was just yesterday.
Well, yesterday.
That was the topic was just yesterday. Wow. We had Julie and I both got the one total commitment in area 1 year. It was just total commitment. I've seen one where it was you just won the Academy Award. Here's to give you your acceptance speech. My voice is an instrument. The music within. You'll hear a lot of similar ones like that handed out, but exactly what we get will be determined by the contest master. So beyond that, I do not know. Our contest chair is not here. Jorge, do you know if there's any?
I know he sent out something we need functionaries.
Oh.
I don't know because of contest master. I still think we need a contest MC.
Yeah, contest master is the MC.
Yeah.
Yes, Eugene, you offering?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Our division governor offered to help there. Definitely need to. It will be quite an early morning for that. I know time running fast, I wouldn't ask the guests for much. Hopefully we didn't scare you too much, but please talk to us afterwards. Is there any other announcements or business at this time? Then we're going to see everyone bright, or not so bright out, early next week for all the fun. See you then.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Oh, now. Okay.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. What time of year was she there?
I wasn't sure if it was the fall or the spring. But take a look.
I was expecting something to jump out at me.
Sorry about
It worked.
And to grab the get together and see.
I know. I'm gonna get my voice back to get you the sign.
And, you know, I've seen fog on the bridge, right, you know, so we went to look at boats, yesterday, Monday, so Sunday we rented Stephany, I have it here, just so you know, we went to look at sea ray.
Well, or I can give it to you, and you can put it in your phone, it's totally fine.
We want to be able to hear.
Okay, yes, I will.
This is my last name right here.
Yes, I'll be glad to. Do you have your email or anything yet?
If you come down a little bit, there'll be a
Big bullshit.
I'm gonna try.
There was one that went up around.
Hardly ever
On the
was.
left.
Well, I mean,
She'll be in
I'll
over
read
the
it.
year.
There's,
You know, it's like a
and then now working over
He
it.
calls it, and it's like.
And I don't.
Oh, I haven't either.
No,
I'm gonna watch it.
and 60
Yeah.
Whoa.